Hey, this is Nick from Nintendo Dads here with a review of Ben 10 Power Trip. This game was developed by PHL Collective and published by Outright Games. Thanks to both for the code so that we could get you fine folks a review. Ben 10 is a beginner adventure RPG. Best way I can think to describe it. Ben Tennyson is on vacation with his family, Grandpa Max and Sister Gwen, and also Kevin Levin is coming along too as the co-op sidekick for when you have a player too. Ben's family is out to vacation in Europe when they run into Hex, and the story takes off from there. You move Ben in a 3D space while performing quests for different NPCs. There are main quests that move the story along, and side quests to be done as well. The map is decent size, not huge, but fairly large. Large enough that a better map system would be helpful. Oftentimes I had to go in and out of the map menu to try and find the RV to get player 2 into the game. Main problem being that the on-screen map is pretty empty of markers. Also, you often come upon challenges you can't do during a mission, so a way to mark the map would be helpful. There are many differently styled environments, from a wooded park to a swamp, of course a city, and even the snowy mountains. As you perform these quests, the game is very helpful in giving you on-screen markers and arrows of where to go for the quest you've selected. You will run into enemies from time to time. The combat in the game is fairly simple, a light and heavy attack, and if you do it right, you can chain the two together for a combo move. Though you'll play as many different characters throughout the game, and they will have different move abilities to help traverse the land, the combat format stays the same for all the characters, though the moves may look a little different. The feel of the landscape and the environment you'll be wandering through feels a little dated relative to other Switch open-world offerings. The environment a little static, and even the cartoon graphics look a little dated for what we've seen on the Switch. That said, the creators did a nice job of putting coins, collectibles, in many different, harder-to-reach areas in the world. I found that if I took time to get to a higher point, I was usually awarded with something large, or small, which is always nice. As you start talking to NPCs for quests, it was a welcome surprise that most of the dialogue is voiced. So if you're getting this for your kiddo, and they aren't up to snuff with reading, they can follow the story for most part without having to call you into the room every 3 minutes. In the beginning, Hex messes with Ben's Omnitrix, which, if you haven't seen the series, is Ben's watch that he uses to transform into different alien characters. As you progress through the story, you'll earn these alien characters back. Each one is used to move into different areas of the map and also needed to solve different puzzles in the game. There is a co-op mode in the game. If you find Grandpa Max in the RV, there Kevin Levin will be too. A villain turned hero in the series. You talk to him and player 2 can control Kevin Levin and transform into any of the aliens that are currently available to Ben. Ben has control of where you go. If the two characters get too far apart, Kevin will transport to wherever Ben is. I will say I've played this kind of co-op quite a bit, and this game allows the two characters to get pretty far apart, which is helpful for player 2, so he or she doesn't feel too chained to whatever player 1 is doing. You each have a vertical slice of the screen. It feels comfortable enough docked on a TV, for sure. If your kiddo isn't quite ready to take on questing by him or herself, then you can move the story forward by playing as Ben and finding the next marker, letting your son or daughter just play around finding coins, goodies, or fighting random baddies. The only downfall to this co-op is that it seems to be a bit glitchy for player 2. I never had any of these problems playing as player 1, whether I was in co-op mode or single-player mode. But my son, who played as player 2, got caught in a wall once, and a tree another time, and he also had some of his abilities not work the way they should for some of his characters. The only way to get free from any of this was to wait until he could get transported to wherever player 1 was. Also, if your character plunges off an edge, the normal protocol is that you will respawn on the cliff that you fell off from. But many times, as player 2, you get caught in the loop of falling and dying and doing it again and again till you get transported to player 1. This is a bummer, as a lot of this stuff happened in the later areas of the game and really took away from what really was a good experience for the both of us. I've given you a reviewer's review of this game, the good and bad of the graphics, the textures, the controls. But let me say, as a parent, the best thing I can say about this game is that my 6-year-old son absolutely loved Ben 10 Power Trip. He hadn't watched Ben 10 ever, but as he saw me start playing, he wanted to play immediately. I set him up as Kevin, and he loved it. He requested this to be a together game, which for us means we don't play the game without the other. And we beat the main quest together. He'd go to bed talking about what he thought would be next, and would wake up wondering what alien we'd unlock in the new area. It's important to realize that this game is set up with kiddos in mind. If you're an experienced gamer looking for an open world game, then, to be frank, unless you really love Ben 10, this probably isn't for you. The quests are easily marked out, the combat stays pretty simple, and the puzzles, well, they're fairly easy, relative to a guy who's been playing games for 30 plus years. For my son, though, he thought it was a difficult game, but not impossible. This is a beginner adventure RPG for sure. Ben and his family are parking their RV on the eShop Friday, October 9th for $39.99 USD. So if you like what you saw here, I'd say pick it up. Hope this helps you make your decision on this game. Signing out. See you later. Game over, folks.